What's up, Refuge Medical? You you were promised a video, and here it is. I've made several attempts to complete this video unsuccessfully, so I'm trying to make this as short as possible. From me to you, a big thank you. From my family to yours, much love, and we hope that this video finds you in good health, and hopes that you guys are doing great as well. So thank you for the training, thank you for the experience, thank you for the knowledge, thank you for pouring everything out that you could into my cup so that I could retain that. Thank you. It was very, very enlightening, and I don't know if you guys get enough feedback, and if you don't, this is not much, but that's all that I can give you. So thank you. I don't know any other words that I can use besides that. But I want to say thank you individually to everybody. Maybe you can just skip through if you don't want to do that and just take the thank you and move on. But I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there anyways. Phelps, thank you for being the backbone here. I understand everybody had their opportunity to speak and add to the cup here. I'm using that metaphor. Hopefully that's okay with you guys. But to add this wisdom to my cup, right? You were the backbone, the keynote speaker, more or less, and thank you very much for that. This message from me to you is just that. Thank you for maintaining composure and fighting through some of the frustrations, trying to keep us all on task. I understand that our class, you said, was very good compared to many others, and we beat some record times during extraction and all this stuff. Which that sounds great. It's a good pat on the back for everybody in the class. I feel that everybody more than pulled their weight. They were all a solid group of guys. But I wanted to thank you. We didn't work together very much, other than just you keeping my face in the mud. So that's fine too. I wanted to let you know that even though you kept your distance, it felt like you kept your distance from most of the people in class. It kind of felt that way. That's not a bad thing, because I do realize that with you having the strength, that's the word that I'm going to use, because it's what that is. Strength to come out and say what you did at the end, and I'm not going to repeat all of that, but to come straight out and admit some things that you had going on in the past, some issues, to have the courage to step forward and admit your faults, and then springboard into the right direction from that, to repent. That was awesome, right? That's not the only thing that I remember, obviously, but I'm just saying that out of everything that was going on, and you being the backbone there for the class, you also carried that instruction of do the right thing, make the right decisions, right? When I was in class, I called you the Inquisitor. I was like, that's a name for this guy, because he's constantly questioning what we're doing. You're constantly asking people, why are you doing that? What is this for? What is your why, right? And I think that those questions are powerful, not only just for the moment, but when you take them and you retain them and ask them later, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? I think that it's very good for self-reflection. But to do that, you inspired a lot of people, whether they admit it or not. I'm just sorry I wasn't there for the baptism, man. I had to make it back to work. Cap. Well, this is for you, Cap. We seem to be paired up a lot. When we did the scenario for the car wreck, you were there. When we did the active shooter, you were there. A lot of the scenarios that I really dwelled on, you were over my shoulder constantly and adding pressure constantly. So thank you for that. The little nickname I gave you was the Pragmatist. You are probably one of the most realist guys. You are very short and to the point. You are very much, this is how it should be and nothing else. Not a lot of bullshit, which all in itself has got its own charm, which is great. So thank you for that. Um, you are very good at keeping me on my toes, and your advice, just know that I took that to heart, especially with the active shooter thing after I finally calmed down. The car wreck, that was the other thing. Uh, I was still under a good amount of stress, and realizing that you didn't slow down any, you didn't stop, you didn't say, all right, take a breather. You were like, no, you need to work through it. Uh, but I'm going to speak a little slowly for you because I can tell that you ride the short bus because you're out of breath. You've got an excellent feel for the people you're working. At least with me, I can tell you got an excellent feel for the people you're training, physically hands on. But I do like your no nonsense approach. That's awesome. That is not to say anything bad about anybody else. It's just these are things that I feel stick out the most. Right? Your your words have stuck with me and kind of ring in my ear. So that is the solid, firm realism of what's going on. No nonsense. So, Captain, a big thank you. I appreciate it. Bob the opponent. Why the opponent? Well, because we first meet the guy, you know, check it in. Bob's like, hey man, gotta patch down. He's one of these cool older brother kind of figures, right? Just real cool. And then he steals your children. Bob, during our first big setup when we got our kids, and I remember their names: Jack, Wilson, Sapphire, and Bubba. At the end of the day, Responder 3. Yeah. And then the other one, of course, was Howitzer's, the name of his child. 100% Bob, the opponent. You stole our children. You helped beat us down. But it's one of those things that I've only worked with you during the opposition. You were active shooter situation. You were the guy shooting at us. You along with David, wiping people out. And of course, with the car wreck, you're screaming, help, please help. We're running down there. Not we as a group, but we individually as a team are running down there. And you're like, you got to go, man, go. Running over there, keeping the pressure on, for sure. And then after the situation was over, with the car wreck coming back, and you're like, how did you do? And of course, that also probably ties in with the fact that you work with some of the top tier people in the world that do it for a job. So being their opponent, and then in this case being ours, but at the same time still being cool enough to keep it real. If you touch any of our kids again, we're gonna have a different problem, which is a good thing because that kept everyone on our toes. That made sure we were all constantly asking, where are the kids? What are we doing? And then the advice of, if you don't know where the kids are and you're not holding the kids, you don't have control of those kids. That's a very, very good point, very valid point. And with my daughter that I have, she's growing up. They grow like weeds, you know. But it was a big reminder that anything could happen at any point, and anybody who's just some cool guy has capabilities that you're not aware of. Everybody has something they're good at. Unfortunately, being a con man is what some people are great at. And since we were pretty unsuspecting going into this, thank you for opening my eyes and showing me that. It was a very good, I feel it was a very good thing. So, and it's not a downer because that's the role you play. So, but thank you for that. And just being an all around cool dude. David, the underestimated. That's what I'm sticking with. The underestimated, because you're just you're a young kid. What do you know, right? You're just some guy. You just carry gear for them or whatever. Not at all. Not at all what that is. You're a very key component to the team. Not just for your ragdoll physics, but not just for your ability to have a tourniquet on every limb and still continue to function, like if nothing's going on. But because of your ability to be underestimated during the active shooter situation, man, you were out there and we couldn't pin you down. And by we, I mean our team. It was hard to pin you down to get you to stay in one spot. You were everywhere. You've done this enough times that you know where to push people and how to push people, which you did. While we were waiting for the active shooter situation, you had us rolling around in the grass, crawling on our face, doing all this stuff, packing cubes, all of it. They were like, hey, David, just be a sadist and keep these guys busy while we're setting this up. You did an excellent job. The underestimated, I feel, fits you great because you're just a very quiet, laid back guy, but the minute you have to do something, you do it very well, and that's not something that you really expect from just from a quiet guy, right? So I really appreciate you keeping us tired and stressed before all the other stuff, and you being a very good obstacle while we're trying to evac some wounded people. Well, thank you, David, for not only being the person that is used for all demonstrations when people are doing things to you, but also conducting demonstrations for you doing things to the rest of us. That was it was something else, and your bluntness is greatly appreciated. You're the quiet kid in the back of the room. You're the guy that you don't have a lot to say, but when you do, you're like, damn, that cut pretty deep. Let me go get my bear fact real fast. You did a very excellent job in portraying I wouldn't say a victim, but a casualty. The reason I gave that nickname of the thespian or the actress is because of the active shooter situation when you personalized the shit out of that for me. And I told myself going into it, I'm like, I have to look at this as though it is real. Even though I know that it is not, I have to look at it that way because if I don't maximize what I'm getting out of this training. And with that car wreck, again, I'm sorry, dragging you all the way to almost to the berm, and then in the rain decided to yard sale one of my my ETD because I'm taking it out of my pocket at 70 miles an hour and it flies out of my hands and I'm like, that's great. So let me run and grab this out of the weeds and run back. And I can't stop on a dime and I damn near baseball slide into your ribs. So again, all I can say up front is I'm sorry. But yes, I think that you're tough as nails because of being probably dragged and thrown and dropped and everything else. You and Hanna having to do that for the casualty carries, the evacs, all of that stuff. And then I'm going to move forward from the car wreck where I was applying the tourniquet and you're like, the bleeding has stopped. Cool. Packed the shoulder. And then the scenario ended. Saved you that time. The next scenario, it was active shooters before the final scenario with the active shooter, and we had to carry you guys or ladies. You came in and had a gun. Completely didn't suspect you at all. I was like, chicks aren't gonna pull guns on you. She looks like she's in distress and she needs to get out of this situation. We need to get her in here. And pop, 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 pop. People are going down now because this person has a gun. That opened my eyes to some stuff that I previously had never even considered, to be honest. I had no experience with. I have experience with women and knives, being Mexican and all, but but not active shooters and the thing with guns. Not to say it couldn't happen because obviously it did, but your idea of using a personal touch and saying and standing by the door and listening to me explain these things to Cap about who I care about and things like that, and you deciding to bring that into the that scenario was just golden, right? Just golden, because it kept me in that headspace of This is someone I really give a shit about, and I have to be the one to do it. And then whenever I didn't make it because of both injuries were in terrible spots, yeah, it cut deep, right? Thank you so much for the scenario. Thank you so much for your ability to act and bring that unlikely scenario, and that scenario people don't like to they push to the edge of their mind or don't think about at all. Thank you for bringing all of the things together and presenting them as real. Thank you for that. I learned a lot, and because of that, I've experienced some things that probably no one else has. So thank you. Hanna, the support. I think that's an excellent nickname, is the support, because whether you are supporting the channel by going through reading through all the emails and comments and all that stuff, or supporting Refuge Medical by being a casualty, or supporting the store because no one could purchase anything until you were ready to come back inside and handle business. Nobody else knew what they were doing. They were like, I'll just get with Hanna. She's got this. Thank you. Thank you for constantly being the support there. And we didn't pair up very much on the scenarios with the first active shooter we did. But when we walk into class, you were very quiet. But then the streak came out. The throwing the fireworks, the getting in people's faces, the yelling, the don't waste my time, all of those things came out. And I was like, yeah, she's piggybacking off of everybody's stress. This looking back, I was like, this right here, man, this is what it is. Everybody's yelling, they're screaming, but Hannah's getting in people's business. She's like, what are you doing? Where's your phone at? Who are you calling? Oh shit. I was good. No. You need to do this. Yes, ma'am. It was great. Right. It was some things that you did that with our side of the room a few times, but whenever we were holding someone down or packing a wound or doing something, and I would look up and you would be on the other side of the room in somebody's face, adding pressure to them while they're supposed to be doing something else. It was fucking great. It was awesome. During class, you were very stern, and you held nothing back. We got to work together with the active shooter thing. Christina ended up having a gun, which you switched it up on us when it was both of y'all had to be carried by the entire team, because we did a team movement for a Casevac, right? We are moving everybody, but by we I mean me. I made a very fatal mistake. I didn't check you, and at the after action report, you laid it all on there hard, and it was a good swift kick in the balls, because I was like, man, I feel retarded now. I feel like I'm back at square one. I don't know what I'm doing. Give me a box of crayons to munch on. That's what I feel like. And you didn't hold it back at all. I thought that was very good. It was very important, because not only were you backing everybody else's play, no matter what was going on in the room, you could piggyback off of it. You can jump from one thing to another and follow that person's lead and really add to the stress. You did an excellent job on that. I really liked the fact that outside of that, when we did get a few moments of air, when we had a respite from all of the all of the stress, you didn't hesitate to talk to everybody and mingle and kind of get to know people. And you weren't as distant as like Phelps or, like Cap. They were very just reserved. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you were very much like, talking with everybody. I think that you were doing that as a way to figure out how to best support them, to help explain things to them in a way that they could understand better. I think that was very great that you and Christina both had that ability to kind of fill people out. Cap was, at least when I was working with him, did the same thing. It was very good. But when I was going to put on my tactical gear, you were like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then you were just kind of just take a minute to hang out, man. Just talk. What's going on? How are you enjoying the class? How's it going? The whole time I'm thinking this is a setup. She's about to make me drop and do push-ups. She's gonna, but no, just literally the support, just there to support us for a few minutes at least. And I'm like, that's fucking dope. Everybody brought a different dynamic to the group. It was great. Thank you, Hanna, for supporting our team. Thank you for supporting me. I appreciate that. I learned that if you watch other people, you can learn from them, which is what I usually try to do. And what I learned from you is you're a very adaptable person. And I learned that when I gave you the nickname of the support, I feel that as very fitting because of that. You can fit into any niche and fill those gaps that happen to be there. Piggyback on stuff. Add stress or take stress away if it's supporting that person to be better in these areas. Thank you all. Everyone worked together. They all brought their own personalities, their own dynamics. You guys, it was a being at the bottom of a waterfall. It was turbulent. It was stressful. One minute we're up, the next minute we're down. We're moving. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're getting lessons, just like life throws them at you. We are getting lessons after the traumatic event. Take that home with you, right? I did. So, thank you all very much. It may not mean much just coming from some random guy in a desert out here in West Texas, but for now, that's all that I can do. Now, granted, over time I may forget some stuff, and over time I may not be as fresh. That's human nature. But no, at this point in time, still a month after, I still think very heavily about what was said and done. And I feel that it has improved my perception. And I'm currently on a mission to find all of my weakness. To find the weakness that I have in my life and then murder it. And I'm not going to be able to do that overnight, right? I'm not going to be able to be everything. It's not possible. I'm not going to be everything, but I'm going to be something. The only way to get that way is with competent people, competent trainers, competent training. You all did that. And you all did that very well.